Welcome to Normal Baseball's top 10 catchers heading into the 2023 MLB season. Let's get into it. What is going on? Welcome back to Normal Baseball. I'm Alex Normal Dog. That is Lewis. And today we are giving our top 10 catchers heading into the 2023 MLB season. As of the time this video comes out, the MLB season is over a month away. But we know who the top 10 catchers to us are heading into the season. And we are going to share that with you guys today. If you wind up liking this, consider subscribing, following the podcast, sharing, and we're going to get right into it.
And let us know what you think about the list.
Yes. Let us know what you think about our individual lists. We carefully curated these lists to the best of our abilities. If you don't agree, that's fine. Let us know what you think it should be different. Let us know what you would have done differently. How this is going to work is I'm going to start. I'm going to say who my 10th best catcher is, number 10 on my list, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Let's
We're
jump
going
into it.
right into it. My 10th best catcher in baseball for the 2023 season, I have Jonah Heim of the Texas Rangers, the 27-year-old. Jonah Heim last year played in 127 games. Batted .227, yes, had a under 700 OPS, but what really did it for me was his defense. He is one of the best framers in baseball, just behind Jose Trevino. He had 12 framing runs last season, which was, like I said, second best in baseball. His WRC plus is, going back to the bat, is 99, so it's just below league average. He had a 2.5 WAR last season with 16 homers and 20 doubles. So he still was hitting the ball. His average was low, yes, but he was still hitting the ball, and I think defense is kind of what did it for me. He doesn't have the best arm when it comes to throwing out runners, but I think his glove and his ability to frame puts him at number 10 for me. It was very close, but he just smidged into my number 10 spot.
All right. I like it. That's a good way to start this off. Jonah Heim at the number 10.
Did you have Jonah Heim on your list?
I actually did not. He was, I will say, the catcher felt difficult to do. Definitely a few honorable mentions, and Jonah Heim definitely is one of them, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would like to see him have a better season at the plate this year. And like his average seems low, but his counting stats are pretty good considering he's a catcher. 16 homers, 20 doubles, 48 RBIs, 41 walks. So I think he's good, and I really do enjoy Jonah Heim. I'm excited to see what he can do this season on this Rangers team, where he will be the starting catcher every day.
Yeah, and I'm not mad about that. I think 10 is the best spot to put him.
Yeah, no way he was going above 10.
Agreed.
That's what I'll say. So you didn't have...
I did not have Jonah Heim on your list.
So who was your number 10 catcher?
My number 10 catcher, and if you guys know anything about me, you know that I absolutely love the rookies and the younger stars of the game and the younger players who are going to become stars. And that's where number 10 on my list, Keibert Ruiz, came in for me at the number 10 spot. I mean, he was good last year. He batted .251. However, he was a switch hitter who was shifted against a lot, especially from the left side. If he were to have the rules of this year in place, his batting average or expected batting average, BABIP, my apologies, batting average on balls in play would have been closer to .280. So just to show how much the shift kind of took away a lot of hits from him. He's obviously a very young player, has loads of potential, and it's already kind of starting. Last year in the 2022 season, he put up a 1.7 WAR with a 95 OPS plus. So I think he's building up, and I think that it's fair to say that he could certainly break out this season.
Okay. I did not have Keibert Ruiz on my list.
Yeah.
He was the one that just missed. It was between him and Jonah Heim, if I'm being honest.
Same thing with me.
But what really swayed me towards Jonah Heim rather than Keibert Ruiz was the fact that Jonah Heim's defense and framing ability is good while his bat is still... His bat was closer to Keibert Ruiz's bat than Keibert Ruiz's defense was to his defense. So, I don't know. I liked Jonah Heim more. It was a tough decision, but I think all in all, I thought Jonah Heim was a little better. But I do understand the thought that Keibert Ruiz will have a really good season this year.
Yeah, and I'm really banking on him too, because I think that this is now the time, especially with how bad the Nationals as an MLB level organization is right now. I think that if they want any bright spots, guys like Keibert Ruiz, guys like Josiah Gray, and guys like C.J. Abrams really need to step up to the plate, and I think Keibert Ruiz is ready to do that.
Okay. Okay. So do you want to move on to our number 9s now?
Yeah. Do you want to go first still?
No, you can go first. So who's your number 9?
At my number 9, I put newly acquired to the Milwaukee Brewers, William Contreras, at my number 9 spot. What do you think?
I also had William Contreras, but I did not have him in my 9 spot. So,
ooh, all right.
If you want to tell me why you had him in your 9 spot, I'll tell you why I had him in whatever spot I did.
So first off, he's becoming a full-time starter at catcher this upcoming season because he was behind a few catchers in the Braves organization at the MLB level, mostly DH'd for them, I would assume, last season. But he was an all-star, coming off an all-star caliber year where he had an 860 OPS and a 138 OPS plus in just 97 games. He looked really good. He looked like a key piece in what teams needed, and I'm happy that a team went out there and was able to acquire him from the Braves because now the Braves have a sort of a logjam at the catcher position. So I think it's nice that William Contreras is the one who's able to get out of there and start up a new part of his career in a place where he can really thrive.
Okay, I had him on my list, but I had him as my 7th. No, 6th. 6th. I had him at number 6 on my list. He's going to be a full-time catcher in Milwaukee, like we said. He was not a full-time catcher in Atlanta. Yep. He's not good on defense, but he's young, so he has time to improve that. He's only 25. But he's incredibly good offensively, and I'm interested to see how that follows with him being behind the dish every day as opposed to DHing a lot. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if you look at his stats last year, you just read most of them. 278 batting average as a catcher is really good. An 860 OPS is really good as a catcher. 138 WRC plus. I'd like to see him boost up his numbers a little bit offensively while getting better at defense too next year. I'm thinking he 3.5 WAR next season, 27 homers, 21 doubles, 47 RBIs, 39 walks. I predicted their stats. So that's like nothing official. That's just that's where I would like them to be next season. Those are like kind of like, if he's going to really truly be number 6 best catcher in baseball, that's where he'll have to be. I think his offense does help him a lot, but that's a big part of the game. And having a good offensive catcher is very important nowadays.
Yes.
I don't want to say defense is not as important for a catcher, but it depends on how young you are and how good you can potentially get at the defensive position, which is a reason for a couple of my other guys on this list. But he was at my number 6 spot.
All right. I think that's it's good that we both have him up there.
Yeah. So my number 9 was a guy from Seattle, Big Dumper, Cal Raleigh. He was number 9 on my list. Last season, in 119 games, he batted .211 with a 774 OPS, 121 WRC plus, so pretty good. 3.8 WAR, 27 homers, 20 doubles, 63 RBIs, and 38 walks.
Now, you said he was your number 9, correct?
He was my number 9 catcher, yes.
I had him at number 5.
Number 5. Wow.
Yeah, I'm very high on Cal
He-
Raleigh going into this season.
He's great defensively.
Mm-hmm.
9 framing runs, which is 4th, and he had 14 defensive runs saved, which is extremely good. He can hit for power, and will have really good offensive contributions. I think he'll have a little better of a season this year on both sides of the ball, but like, I don't know. I think what really drew me away is his low batting average kind of hurts my soul a little bit.
Yes.
I'd like to see him get the batting average up. That's probably why he's so low on this list for me. I want to give him another season to prove how good he is. Obviously he is a switch hitting catcher. So I'm excited to see him for another season. I had him a little lower on this list because of the fact that I want to see what he can do in a follow-up season to this season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't just want to kind of go out on a limb and say he's going to have an amazing season. I think he'll hit 30 home runs this season because he'll probably play more games. I had 30 home runs, 27 doubles.
Yeah. All right. I like that. I put him at number 5 because, one, he did lead all catchers in MLB with home runs at 27, which pretty good, especially since, like you mentioned, catching is now more about the offensive output that you get from it because everyone can, at least the catchers at the major league level, can play defense. We know that. I noted that part of my ranking was also how much I think they're going, like how well I think they're going to be.
Yeah,
Cal Raleigh is in the middle of what we're considering a very stacked Seattle Mariners lineup. So you have to imagine that he's going to produce more than we expect because he's going to get opportunities to drive guys in. He's going to get opportunities to step into the box in big moments like he did last year. He walked him off into the postseason, which is like really cool. And I think that Cal Raleigh will be a very, very good catcher this upcoming season. I'm happy that, again, we have another guy that we're sharing on the list.
Yeah, I think what put me a little lower is that, like, yes, he's going to get the opportunities. That doesn't mean he's going to, just because he did it last year, doesn't mean he's guaranteed to do it next year. That's why I said I'd like to see him follow up. That's why a couple of the guys that are ahead of him that were kind of like, you could argue that, this is just my opinion, the guys ahead of him that I had, you could very much argue that Cal Raleigh will be better than them next season. But to me, there's more of a chance of the players that I know are ahead of him having their seasons that we know they're going to have by now, rather than Cal Raleigh having this another just career year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like that's fair.
It definitely is. I can
a
understand
fair thing
it.
to say, because the year before that he only played 47 games, so this was really his first full thing. And in those 47 games the year before, 2 homers. So I just want to see. I think he'll be good. Don't get me wrong. I have him slated 30 home runs, 27 doubles. But I'd like to see what he can do before I put him higher on this list. I think next offseason, if he has a good season, I'll definitely put him to 5 or around where you had him.
All right. I like that. Again, happy that we both had him on the list because he's more than deserving of being up there.
Oh, Hunter, he's definitely a top 10 catcher
10,
in this
sure.
league.
So should I now move to my number 8 then?
Well, you want me to do my number 8 first?
Did you
I did number 10. You did 9. I'll start my 8.
Oh, okay. Sure. Go
Okay.
ahead.
My number 8, I have a guy who changed teams this year, who will be playing on a new team this season. It is Wilson Contreras. Number 8 might seem a little low, but when you look at it, I mean, yes, last year, batted .243, not 3.9 WAR, 22 homers, 23 doubles. He's not a good defender in like any aspect.
Correct.
He is not a good defender.
He's the anti-Yadier Molina.
Exactly. He is the opposite of Yadier Molina, and I think his offense, and not only is his defense bad, I think his offense is going to get worse at Busch Stadium, playing there more, because career at Busch Stadium is not good. I can pull up the exact stats, but I know his career at Busch Stadium is very bad.
Do you got it up, or do you want me to?
No, I can pull it up.
Right.
Did you? Well, while I pull this up, did you have him on your list?
I did not.
You did not have him in your top 10 catchers.
It was for the same exact reason that you mentioned that he's not higher on your list. I feel like he's going into a different run environment where it's not as easy to hit being on the Cardinals and playing in Busch Stadium, and I just don't think the defense is there. I took in both sides. However, I do think that he still is a good catcher in this league. I don't think that he just simply did not crack my top 10.
Yeah, I mean, my reasoning for getting him at the eighth spot is like he's still a good catcher in this league, and he's still a good alternative to Yadier Molina retiring. But he definitely is towards the bottom, and I can see how you wouldn't have him on there, but I do think he still is a top 10 catcher. I'm a little scared of how he's going to regress this season, but I'm hoping...
That's if he regresses.
That's if he regresses. I'm hoping he gets better at defense this season. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that some of the coaches there, but at the same time I'm worried because the coaches in St. Louis haven't really had to coach a catcher like this in a while because of Yadi. Yadi knows what he's doing behind the dish. I'd like to see if he can get better defensively, which is why I kept him on this number 8 spot. His career stats in Busch Stadium, like I said, not good. 228 batting average. Yes, a 720 OPS. But 4 homers. He only has 29 total hits in 39 games. It's just 40 strikeouts. I think his offense will get a little bit worse. But there's always that chance that it doesn't. And if his offense can stay the same or even get better, and then his defense also get a little better, definitely a top 10 catcher for me.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I understand that. However, the negatives, I think, outweigh the positives.
It's fair.
In my mind. Which
That's
is
fair.
why I did not put him on my list.
So who'd you have at your number 8 then?
At my number 8, 2022's Platinum Glove winner, Jose Trevino. I put him in my number 8 spot. He won the Platinum Glove, was just the best defensive catcher in baseball, and I don't think there's much more to say about his defensive side. His first half was absolutely amazing. He was absolutely mashing pitches, especially fastballs. Was hitting really well. Sadly, in the second half, he got more pinch hit and DH days, where they were able to pitch around him, along with the Yankees' terrible August slump. So he kind of fell off in the second half, but I do think that Jose Trevino, especially with how good the defense was, that he belongs up here in the top 10.
Yeah, I had Jose Trevino at my number 7 spot.
Oh, okay.
So
good.
Just above where you had him. Yes, his bat, you could say his bat was bad. Yes, he had a 91 WRC plus, and had a 671 OPS, but it felt like he got a lot of hits, and it was like he wasn't aiming for the home run ball. He had 11 homers, 12 doubles all season, but he could get the singles, and he can get on base when he really needed to. Mm-hmm. And what really brought him to the top 8, let's be honest, was his platinum glove. The 21 defensive runs saved were first in baseball. 17 framing runs were first in baseball. 53.8 K rate. Percent K rate was first in baseball, and he has a cannon of an arm. He can throw out runners at any rate.
He had a 1.7 defensive WAR last year as an all-star.
Yeah, no, he's gonna have another extremely valuable season because of his defense, and his offense is still gonna be pretty good. I mean, today in spring training, yes, it's spring training, but he did hit a grand slam in his first spring training at bat. So I think Trevino's going to have another very quality year. Do I think he'll win the Platinum Glove again? Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay.
Expect Trevino to not slow down. He is the best defensive catcher in baseball.
Yep.
Defense is something that you learn, and you don't just lose it one day. So expect him to be just as good. He was at my number 7 spot.
Okay, and I had him at my 8 spot. So you gave your 8 already?
Yeah, so who'd you...
And you gave your 7. So
I gave my... I'm up to my top 5 now.
Okay, so it's back to me. My number 7 spot, kind of a out of left field one, just because I feel like this is where the ship is sailing, where it's headed to. My number 7 spot is MJ Melendez of the Kansas City Royals.
Ooh, that's kind of a...
Because I feel like Salvi's going to do a lot more DHing this year.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree. MJ Melendez will be playing a lot of catcher. I think, regardless, that surprises me.
And to think, like, when you think about him, it's like, oh, he's just another catcher for the Royals. Like, you don't really think too much. He had a 706 OPS last year and a 99 OPS plus.
Yeah,
Just missed that league average.
A little below average.
Right, but he only caught 66 games last year. I think that given that now he won't need to move around the field as much and accommodate to when Salvi is catching and just focus on the fact, okay, I'm going to be the everyday catcher and like this is where my spot in the lineup is, I think that he's going to really solidify himself as a above average starter. And I think that going into 2023, we're going to see a lot more of his power come out and a lot more of his utility behind the plate come out. And I'm looking forward to watching him play.
This is the first one I actually disagree with.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to be that good this season. I think he will have a good season. I don't think he'll be the 7th best catcher in baseball, especially...
I can understand that. I can.
I don't know how his...
I'm being brave. I'm being bold because I like the rookies, and I think that he's just in line to do really well this season.
It's not my favorite.
I get that, and that's okay.
How's his defense? I don't know how his defense...
His defense is solid. He put up a negative 1.2 defensive WAR, but I genuinely think that that's more because he played the outfield last season for almost half of his games, where he didn't look as comfortable as if he were behind the plate. And that's the way that I look at it. I think that given if he plays strictly behind the plate this upcoming season, I think he's going to do really well. Because he has a fucking cannon of an arm.
Yeah, from what I've seen is that he has a very good arm, but his blocking skills aren't great, which Salvi had some of the same issues. Salvi was not great at framing, so he did have some defensive issues. I'm just a little baffled on number 7. Especially he was above Trevino for you.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, that kind of
just because
that jars me a little bit.
I feel like MJ Melendez has more offensive capabilities than Jose Trevino.
We'll see. Nothing that he's proved
so
far.
They're very interchangeable. Like in my mind, they could definitely be interchangeable. However, as of right now, I would say that MJ Melendez is over him just for the potential of having more power and more offensive capability.
Okay. I mean, I would be a little drawn away from that just because, like, we don't know exactly how that's a big risk that you're taking there.
Hey.
I mean, 217 batting average in 129 games last season.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. He played more games than Trevino and had a lower batting average, just barely had a higher OPS, and not as good defense. But you do you.
Yeah.
So, did you say that was your number 7?
That was my number 7.
Have you said your number 6?
I have not said my number 6.
Do you want to give your number 6?
My number 6, Alejandro Kirk.
Okay.
I put Alejandro Kirk in my number 6. Did you have him listed?
He was my number 5.
Okay. I put him there because he just had an absolute breakout of a season as, I believe, he's only 24 years old. 23 last year, was an all-star.
He's 24.
Yeah, he's 24 now. Won a Silver Slugger.
Short King.
126 OPS plus. Just, I mean, the last person I think I would have expected having such a offensive year was Alejandro Kirk.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, 285 batting average, almost an 800 OPS as a catcher. Yeah. Good defensively. Like, he's not anything horrible defensively.
He can play the position.
Yeah, exactly. And then his offense makes up for it with the fact that he gets on base so much. If he can come close to replicating last season, he'll continue to be very dangerous in this Blue Jays lineup.
Yeah, and it's very clear that they want him to be the catcher of the future. They traded away Gabriel Moreno. Oh my God, I said it again.
Every time.
Moreno. They traded away Gabriel Moreno. So
yeah, and
it's clear that they want him there, especially after such a great year.
Yeah, it's tough. And a guy like Danny Jansen, who is a very good offensive catcher, they're still pulling him over, Danny Jansen. But I think next season he'll be around the same. I think his average might go down a little bit, but I think his power will go up a little bit. If I want to say my predictions, I did say, I got very in detail here. 279 batting average. These are my predictions.
Okay.
810 OPS, 370 on base, 130 WRC plus. This season he had 129.
How many strikeouts and homers do you have him having?
I don't have strikeouts.
How many homers?
Homers I have 20. his power
Okay.
going up a little bit, and I have 23 doubles, so I think both of those numbers will go up.
Yes.
I had him going down in RBIs a little bit, 61 RBIs, but up in walks, 67 walks. So
Okay.
4.1 WAR is what I have him at. I think he's going to be have another quality season. You don't just fall off a cliff like that.
Okay.
Well, I told you I got really in depth with
Yeah,
these.
you
with
did.
these.
I was a little shocked. Okay.
I'm going to revisit these numbers at the end of the season, and if I get any right, it will be reported.
Okay.
Like, if any number is right, it will be reported.
I like that. All right. So I believe now we both have our 10 through 5s done. So do you want to tell us your number 4?
So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, rather you have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5 done.
Yes.
Okay, so we're both in our top 4s now.
Yes. I think that all 4 of the players on my list should also be on your list.
Yes, now it's a matter of the order.
Right.
So for my number 4 catcher in baseball,
This can get ugly really quick.
got my post-it note right here.
Oh.
I have, from the Los Angeles Dodgers, I have Will Smith. You also had number 4?
I also had Will Smith at number 4.
Yeah, last year, 137 games played, batted 260 with an 808 OPS, 343 on base, 127 WRC plus, 3.9 WAR, 24 homers, 26 doubles, 87 RBIs, 56 walks. He's been underrated for a long time now. I feel like when people talk about the best catchers in baseball, he is not mentioned enough.
Agreed.
And I think he is the he's the 4th best catcher in baseball.
Yeah.
100%.
And what's even crazier to think about is that this is only his, his only 3rd full year basically in the league. He's such a young stud of a catcher and has the ability to both be an offensive threat and a defensive threat any given day that it's impossible to not mention him when you're talking about the best catchers in baseball.
Yeah, he'll get better next season too.
Oh yeah.
He's not bad on defense, but he'll hopefully improve. He had a drop in OPS last season, like a significant drop. He went from an 860 OPS in 2021 to a 807, but I think that was mostly because of him getting more games at DH, because they also have Austin Barnes, who was playing catcher. So he got more plate appearances by like a significant amount, which I think caused the drop in OPS. I think next season he'll have a really good year again. I think he'll bat 270, 815 OPS, 130 WRC plus. I have him at a 4.7 WAR, going up significantly. 30 homers, 30 doubles. I think he'll get the 30-30.
Okay.
90 RBIs and 60 walks. I think he's going to get better at the plate, and if he can even stay the same offensively, defensively, I think he'll still be an amazing catcher.
Yeah, and one more thing that I want to highlight, just for anybody who's a complete nerd like myself out there, if you go to Will Smith's Baseball Savant page, it is just littered with red. I mean, the dude has every tool that you would ever want in a offensive-minded catcher, considering that he is also very good behind the plate. And just one thing that I love to notice is how well they hit against certain pitch types. Will Smith had a 297 batting average against strictly fastballs last year.
Fastball hitter.
But he batted 276 against off-speed pitches. So he sees all the balls really well. The only issue is the breaking balls, which I group them into off-speed. I feel like they're the same sort of pitch. It's just a matter of how much break they have, basically. But he batted only 200 against breaking balls, but I still think that he's an elite hitter, and 4 is the perfect spot for him, considering both Alex and I have him there.
Yeah, I know, I agree. I like him at 4. I think he's, like I said, underrated. Very, very underrated.
Oh boy, here we go. You
Top
want to get
3.
to number 3, or should I do it?
You got who is your number 3 catcher in baseball?
My number 3 catcher going into the 2023 season is Sean the Bakery Murphy.
Me as well.
Yep.
I also had him at at number 3.
Yeah, Sean Murphy was a staple in an otherwise terrible Oakland Athletics lineup. He batted 250 with a 332 on-base percentage, a 426 slugging, which brings him to a 759 OPS and a 120 OPS plus, which when you just look at those, you don't think too much of it. But then you realize that Sean Murphy got traded to the Atlanta Braves, where he's going to be in a very, very good lineup, where he's going to have more opportunities, more ways to prove that not only is he good behind the plate, but he can also be a very good offensively minded hitter at times. And I'm looking forward to watching him play as the third best catcher in baseball this season.
Yeah, I had most of the same reasonings. He's progressively got a lot better on defense.
Very.
Like you said, he got traded to the Braves. He's in a better team now. He's probably going to be feeling a lot better about where he is. He's on a better team. He's not playing in the most pitcher-friendly ballpark anymore, so his offense... he's not playing in the most pitcher-friendly ballpark anymore, so I think his offense has the ability to get even better because Oakland is a very pitcher-friendly ballpark, so...
Yeah.
It's not going to be his home stadium anymore. He's not going to play there anymore. So I'm excited to see his offense get better because his defense has also been getting better progressively over the years. Do you want my predictions for his offensive stats next season? I think you do.
Sure.
He's going to play 140 games, let's be honest. Darno's going to get a few games back there. 261 batting average, 340 on base percentage, 819 OPS, so that goes up significantly.
Okay.
26 homers, going up 8 from last year. 31 doubles, going down, but his homers went up. 79 RBIs, 49 walks, 130 WRC plus, and a 6 WAR, going up 0.9 in the WAR. I think he's going to have a really, really good first season in a Braves uniform. Yeah.
I agree.
The Bakery.
Sean the Bakery Murphy. I think it's this is not so much based on solely him. It's also based on the fact that he's going to be in the Atlanta Braves lineup. Because
really, I have it solely based on him.
I put him up here thinking that he's going to get more opportunity to be more offensively productive in the Braves organization. If he were still on the Athletics, I think he would be a little bit lower in my book.
Really?
Yep.
I mean, it depends. Well, I do think that a big part of it is that he's not in the most pitcher-friendly ballpark anymore. It's his home stadium. That does really, really, really help.
That also really helps.
So, yeah, I guess him being in the Braves lineup does help. But he's still, I think, if he was still on the Athletics, probably still top 4, top 5.
Okay.
But, yeah, I'm excited to watch Sean Murphy play in a Braves uniform this year. What?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm getting nervous for the 2-1.
All right, 2-1. Do you want me to give you my number 2?
No. Give me your number 1, because then I think we can then deduce who's going to be the number 2. You never want to know the loser first. You always want to know the winner first. Bad comparison. None of these guys are losers.
Do we want to do number 2 or number 1 for? Why number 1?
I feel like you.
No, we have to go in order.
Okay, then do your number 2.
For my second best catcher in baseball this season, I have Braves young phenom Adley Rutschman.
Braves young phenom?
Sorry. Shut up. I have Orioles young phenom Adley Rutschman. Last year, 113 games, played as a rookie. He was one of the most exciting people to watch. People know that he is going to have a monster of a season this year, and it's true. He will be having a monster of a season this year. Last season, in just 113 games, he accumulated a 5.3 WAR. He batted .254 with an 800 OPS, 13 homers, 35 doubles in 113 games. He's young. He has something to prove. He's on a fun, exciting Orioles team that almost snuck into the playoffs last year. He's a well above average defender, and there's absolutely no reason to think he'll get worse this year when he has everything to prove and everything to lose. So I think he is the second best catcher in baseball. Based on Lewis's facial features, I can tell that he has him slotted at number 1. Am I right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I think so. I'll get into my number 2 as well. I mean, I'll get into my number 1 as well because it just fits right now. My number 1, who I know is your number 2, JT Realmuto.
Yep, I have him flipped.
Phillies.
That's my jersey, by the way.
JT
He's wearing it.
Still, JT Realmuto. He's been the best catcher in baseball for the last few years.
And that I will not take away from him.
He isn't good. He isn't amazing at framing. He's not bad at framing. He had a -1 framing runs, which is not bad. But he has an amazing pop time. 1.82 seconds, leads baseball in pop time. And his arm is deadly. He has a cannon of an arm. I think he's going to have a similar season to next year, but even his similar season to next year, I think is going to be an amazing season.
All right.
I think the only thing that kept me from putting Adley at number 1 is it's his second season in the big leagues. I don't think, for me, it's right to assume that he'll be better than JT Realmuto. Because JT is not regressing. JT is not regressing in my book. And I think Adley will obviously be a phenom. I have Adley having a 6.8 WAR next season with 45 doubles. But I think JT being on the Phillies and being the guy he has been, I think he'll stay up top of the catcher list for me.
Okay.
Let's hear your reasonings.
I put JT at second just because, obviously second best catcher in baseball. I do think though that this past season, the 2022 season of JT Realmuto, I feel as if that is the maximum that we are going to see. I feel like this is where JT Realmuto more so tops out. He's entering his age 32 season, and I'm not saying that he's going to regress. I just don't see him improving enough. I don't see him improving more past the margins, last season he batted 276. I don't see him going over 285, that type of thing.
285 is a very good batting.
It is very good.
I don't think Adley's batting over 285.
I haven't batted 310.
310? He batted 254 last year.
No.
I have Adley batting 267.
Listen,
next season.
I put Adley at 1 just because of one thing that stuck out to me, that really stuck out to me. Adley Rutschman was not called up for opening day. He was sadly injured to begin the 2022 season. He was called up on May 21st, 2022. After he arrived, the Orioles had a 54.9 win percentage. They technically, if they started opening day that day that Adley Rutschman started, they would have made the playoffs. Adley Rutschman added so much value to that team. He brought so much excitement. I mean, I remember sitting down to watch his first game last season, and he hits a triple in his first at-bat. Are you kidding me? He provides so much value offensively, and if he just lowers his strikeouts for the 2023 season, just doesn't swing willy-nilly, we're going to see him really come out and look amazing and be Adley Rutschman that everyone knows him to be. Everyone knows him to be the runner-up to Rookie of the Year in a historically good rookie class in the American League. I'm just looking forward to watching him play next season, and I think that the sky is the limit with him.
I mean, fair. I like your assessment. For me, what really kept him at number 2 rather than number 1 is the fact that he was a rookie last year.
Yeah, I get that.
I also disagree in the fact that JT Realmuto has hit his ceiling. I don't think that's true.
That's fair.
I think
it's
JT
okay
Real.
to be in denial. It's okay.
It's not in denial. JT Realmuto's numbers all went up from last season.
Okay.
They are where they were in 2019.
Okay.
In fact, he had the same exact OPS in 2019. And his batting average went up. His RBIs went up. I think he is going to have a better season than last year, and I think not. I'm not even necessarily saying he'll have a better offensive season than Adley. I just think all around, when you talk about most valuable catcher, I think it's JT Realmuto currently. Do I think by the end of next season it could be Adley? Yes.
End of next season?
The end of this upcoming season.
Okay.
The next season. Do I think he'll be the number 1 catcher? He certainly could be. But for me, it's too early to say that without a doubt this guy is going to immediately carry the Orioles to the playoffs, be the captain of that team, bat fucking 300, hit 40 homers, have 50 doubles. For me, it's too early to confidently say that, so I'm sticking with the guy who's been the best the last few years, JT Realmuto, because I don't think he's going to get worse.
All right, I understand. I could
Adley's right behind you.
They're very. Yes.
Don't get me wrong. None of this. I still love Adley. I have him at my number 2.
In my book, they're so interchangeable. But if I had to pick one to be the number 1, it's Adley Rutschman.
Quite clearly, because you just did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, I did.
But yeah, those are our lists. Do you want to run through, or we could do some honorable mentions first? I would like to say on my list, I would have loved to have Travis d'Arnaud. Travis d'Arnaud had a very good season last year. I think it needs to be noted, but he will not be their starting catcher, and he will not be playing that many games at the catcher position.
Yes.
So that.
And as for my honorable mention, it would be Wilson Contreras.
I have another honorable mention.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Kyle Higashioka,
Yes.
Yankees backup catcher. He's not going to play enough games to really be considered, but he can be very good on offense, and he's very good defensively. So I just think he's a good mixture.
Okay.
I feel like I had another one who I wanted to make a note of.
Luke Voigt.
I guess not. I thought I feel like I had another one, but not immediately that I can think of. Those were the two.
Yeah, my only honorable mention would be Wilson Contreras, just because I don't think that we're going to see his offensive numbers tick up. I feel like his run environment, as Alex previously mentioned, is going down.
Yeah. Yeah, my last one was Keibert Ruiz, who, like was mentioned, just barely missed my top 10.
Mm-hmm.
I would have loved to put him on because he has a cannon of an arm, but I went to Jonah Heim instead. Do we want to read our list just full through? We'll each read our list 10 through 1.
To close it out?
Just to close out the...
All right. Would you like to go first?
You can go first.
All right. So for my top 10 catchers going into the MLB's 2023 season, at number 10, I had Keibert Ruiz. 9, William Contreras. 8, Jose Trevino. 7, MJ Melendez. 6, Alejandro Kirk. 5, Cal Big Dumper Raleigh. 4, I had Will Smith. 3, I had Sean the Bakery Murphy. 2, I had JT Realmuto. And 1, Adley Rutschman.
Okay. For my top 10 catchers heading into the 2023 MLB season, at number 10, I had Jonah Heim. At number 9, I had Cal Raleigh. At number 8, I had Wilson Contreras. At number 7, I had Jose Trevino. At number 6, I had William Contreras. At number 5, I had Alejandro Kirk. At number 4, I had Will Smith. At number 3, I had Sean the Bakery Murphy. At number 2, I had Adley Rutschman. And at number 1, I had JT Realmuto. That was our top 10 catchers heading into the 2023 MLB season. Before we go, I want to come over by you really quick and just give Adley Rutschman a little smooch.
Live on air.
Live on air. I'm sorry for not putting into my number 1 Adley, but I love JT Realmuto, but I still love Adley, so much love. Yeah, that was it. That was our top 10 catchers.
Top 10 catchers.
How should we end these? You want to just stand up? All right, no. All right, we will see you guys in the next list, which will be top 10 first baseman.
Yep.
Peace.